Good morning. Welcome to B Cube Sunday morning. Here's a good news and bad news. Good morning, Knox. It's me and Knox today. We're your hosts, and the beautiful thing is, we're just here long enough for those of you who like to come on and say good morning on Sunday mornings. It's just going to be a little bit of hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Saturnalia Day, Happy if you're Asian, Happy Family Reunion type day. I guess I was reading up on the solstice and what people did, and uh, in the Asian side of the house, back in the Stone Age, bless the Stone Age's heart. Oh, here, let me turn on comments so that I can actually see if anybody's got anything to say. There we go. And anyway, I'm just wanted to say good morning to everybody out there. Um, I think it was best that I didn't try and get a show on Christmas Eve. People need to spend time with their families. Like me, I'm here to spend time with my family. Except for she's gone to breakfast with the neighbors because they're going to go watch the Seahawks game at 10 and they didn't want to um, miss any of it, considering how the Seahawks are doing. You know, you got to know. Hey, wait a second. I've got somebody with me here. Hey, you're there on the BQ Press Project page. Do me a favor and say who's there. I would very much, before I go, at least get to say good morning to a real person, not just a comment. Ooh, two of you. I like it. Since it's just me today and I'm here to tell you Merry Christmas, like I said, when I was planning on maybe doing a show this morning, I was looking at the notion of, we've got the Christmas thing here. Um, as everybody who watched Sheldon's brilliant riff on Saturnalia on the Big Bang Theory, we know about Saturnalia, and we know that we bring in trees. Oh, inside our house because houses smell bad in the middle of winter, I'm sure, and the tree makes it smell better. Good morning, Facebook user. Who is my Facebook user today? Oh, Ellen. Good morning, Ellen. Hi, Susan. I hope you're having your coffee this morning. And maybe even getting ready to watch your What was that movie you were watching the other? You liked uh, Bad Mother Santa. Uh, oh, cool. And it's Susan. I assume that's Susan Oldberg Caro, or because I like it. But anyway, is there anything anybody wants to talk about? Write it up in the comment section. And we can talk about it until we bore ourselves. Hey, Andrew, is that Andrew Lucas, I assume? Because it tells me Facebook user. And the, oh, sorry, I'm yawning. I didn't even put on my hand dog. Ooh, Bad Mom's Christmas yeah. Now, you see, I put up a list of my favorite Christmas movies, and I put Die Hard is like number 2 or 3 or 4, somewhere in the center. And I still get people saying Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. And I think Becky Kyle put it best. It's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off of Nakatomi Plaza. And here, just a second, I'm going to say reasons that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Because there's lots of reasons. I mean, it's got Easter eggs buried everywhere in it, right down to the fact his wife's name is Holly. Seriously, uh, it's kind of cool. Anyway, okay, 9 reasons why Die Hard is really a Christmas movie. Ooh, looks like clickbait. Um, okay, one. The basic narrative in Die Hard is a man returning to his family for Christmas. Okay, blah, blah, blah. His wife's name is Holly. Okay, I'll give him that one. uh, the chief villain, Hans Gruber, explicitly invokes uh, the Christmas spirit. It's Christmas, Theo. It's a time for miracles. Gruber is the classic bad capitalist villain. Um, it's just got a lot of Christmas songs. Santa Claus makes an appearance in the form of a dead terrorist. Okay, those are the worst reasons I've seen. I think it's still a Christmas movie. Uh, but anyway, so what favorite Christmas movies do you have? I put up on my list, I put One Magic Christmas, Mary Steenburgen, and it was turns out that 3 people, including my wife, Sue, have seen that movie. Anybody out there besides me that's watching today ever seen One Magic Christmas? That's a question. Ooh, ooh. I hear fingers are typing. Okay, you guys. Ooh, everyone's favorite Christmas supper. Cinnamon rolls and chili. You know what? Susie used to make back when she cooked a clam chowder. Or the kids would come over. We'd all have clam chowder. Um, it was great. I not being the greatest fan of milk soups, I have to say. Oh, a Wonderful Life fan. I loved Wonderful Life. Yeah, and Die Hard, Ode to Joy. Good point. Cliff Winnig? Oh, don't tell me you're here, Cliff, because I'll send you a link and put you on here live for this discussion. It'd be too much fun not to do that. Uh, okay, just a second here. I am going to do that. Christmas has been fun. I've been taking the Christmas holidays. Okay, Cliff. As soon as I find the right button. Ah, there we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Somebody typed a really long comment. Host. Oops. Sorry, guys. You didn't need to see that. We have a character in a book called Tilden Hayes. And he's a wee bit of a conservative. There we go. Douche. And I guess the last thing I copied before I tried to copy the link was him. So now let's see if I can figure out a way to. Oh, I can't delete a comment. That's interesting. You'd think as a host I could. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Cliff. I just put the link in comments. Come on board. Fact, let's be bold today. It's Christmas. I'm sitting here all alone in my Christmas show. It's so sad. So there's a link I just posted. Uh, um, and anybody who wants to come, get on the show and say good morning, happy Christmas, or merry something. And somebody says not live. When you go live, it's in perpetuity. No, guys, I got to tell you, life is not perpetuity. I used to be young. Now look at me. So I got to figure at some point, you know, I'll take a long nap. The eyes will kind of sink in. The bugs will say, yum, yum. Yahoo. Good morning, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to say good morning. So, anyway, back to that point. I just posted a link. The host posted a link. Anybody wants to come on and say happy day to the world, just click that link, wrestle with whatever's there to be wrestled with, because every now and then somebody says, I can't get on. And we can. So, who here has been to Mongolia? Odds are nobody. Drop, okay. I'm sent. Cliff says send him a link. I'm going to send Cliff a link. Cliff Winnig, by the way, one of my favorite people. He does our son, one of our he does sector third Sunday, and he just has fun with it. So forgive me for a second while I go look at my email. Oh, there it is, the big, okay. And new email. I push that button and nothing happens. All right, now we go new email. There we go. Okay, I'm going to send this to Cliff Winnig. And I'm sending him a link. Now, here's a beautiful thing about my email, God help it. It shows up. Some people think, God, that Bob is just the worst email responder in history. Well, sometimes that's true. And other times it's just simply put, my email likes to take the long way around and uh, So there, Cliff. I sent you an email and I sent you a message. And so now I know eventually you'll show up. Wow, you guys love watching. Hooray for Cliff. Always fascinating and informative and funny. Yes, but can he tell the witch joke? I found a new joke on Facebook. It's two old witches are sitting at a table. Okay. One of them's got her hand on the other one who's crying. What's wrong, Hilda? The doctor says I can't have children any. Can't have the doctor says I can't have children. The other witch looks at her and says, food allergies aren't the end of the world. Bada bing, bada boom. Somewhere out there, the internet is roaring in laughter. I have to believe. But here's you know what this is? You always think that we're sitting here sipping away at some really good coffee or something. No, this is last night's coffee. I let it sit in here and it got cold. But you know what? People at Starbucks pay extra for iced coffee. And they ever wonder where they get it? All the coffees that they set up on the shelf and nobody ever takes. They just take them and dump them all in a vat, chill it, and then when somebody orders an iced coffee, yep, they'll just dump it out into that. If you don't believe me, you're probably smart. Because I, on the other hand, have been known to be a bodacious teller of tales. My it is a cliff. We had no plans for a cliff this morning. But you know what? Whenever there's you know, uh, how you doing, Cliff? Facebook user, and I'm going to bet somebody. Oh God, I'm just so sad. Where they sometimes they mistake who their somebody mistook their paint water for last night's coffee. Oh, that's bad. Cliff, can you hear me? I know the world can hear me, and say something, Cliff. Oh, you are saying something. Okay, we say it says you've got a good network connection. Okay. Can everybody else hear Cliff? I can't hear Cliff. Oh, but he does a good visual. For a moment there, I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was in the studio. War game. He's painting his war game miniatures. All righty. So now this is an interesting moment. I'm going to see if my volume is turned down. Okay, my volume is turned up. Can anybody? There's no audio for Cliff. His mic is on. He's gonna. Oh no, he's gonna log out and try again. I never. When somebody says they're gonna log out and try again, I'm reminded of my fourth wife, who we were out to dinner. She got up and said, I'll be back. I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah. She took her purse and her coat and my checkbook. Never saw her again. Or was that my fifth wife? I don't know. You can hear me. Oh, that's a scary thing. But no, my somebody says it's like every government meeting I have. Oh God, yeah. See, Cliff isn't back yet. Cliff has left me. He's left me for a better microphone. Actually, I hear there's a podcast over on the other side of town where if you show up, they'll send you a T-shirt just to wear for the podcast. You know, I would do that for you, Cliff. But I know you said, is Cliff coming back? I hope so. My gut tells me that he's found a better podcast, one where he doesn't have to have a Canadian. You see my Canada emblem on my shirt. It's a sneaky thing. Uh, the I oh, it's a Cliff.
Hello, can you hear me?
Gosh, yes, we can hear you. You
So,
are
Restream
live.
is so persnickety. This time when I logged in, I checked settings before actually logging in, and it had, like last time, said, yeah, use built-in camera, built-in microphone, or allow camera and microphone access. Then I looked, and the default microphone choice was no microphone instead of built-in. So
that's us. There is evil that is powerful evil, and there's sneaky evil. That is sneaky evil.
It is.
Anyways.
However, I had a joke about coffee and paint, which was this old thing I learned from my dad, who was in the army during the Korean War. The coffee in the army, they say, is mighty fine. It looks like mud and water and tastes like turpentine. Oh, I have had enough of army life. Gee, ma, I want to go, but they won't let me go. Gee, ma, I want to go home.
They did a gig, a run like that on MASH one time.
Yeah. It's an old song with lots of verses.
Oh, yeah. I got to believe there's about 1 billion. Okay, now somebody posted up this video that says, this is...
I think that's spam. That looks like spam.
Look what the boys are wearing.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I would not click that link.
Oh, no.
It is a YouTube video.
Oh, and it's just a Facebook user. Okay, Facebook user, explain your link.
Explain yourself.
Yes.
We are a panel of judges, and you will be judged. So anyway, I have, in the holiday spirit, I have not quite a Christmas. Okay, good to know. Not quite a Christmas angel. It's Ambassador Kosh. If you've seen Babylon 5.
What is it?
It's a white Christmas. Okay, thank you. We're a little bit after last time. We're a little bit nervous about unknown links because we had some spammers on last time. So, thank you, Ellen, for the video. And sorry we could not identify it was you who was posting it because all we see is Facebook user, which is why I was putting my name in brackets when I was on Facebook. Yeah.
Who posted it?
Ellen Killian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I just knew we had made it because I can tell you, year in review next week with David Gerald and Jim Wright.
Yep.
I guess thanks to their massive audience, we have got some spammers. We've got our own little set of trolls now.
We have Jim and David to thank for spammers. Spam, 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 spam. Where's my Viking helmet? Spammity spam. Wonderful spam.
Come on. We gotta, we're not British here.
No, but that's where spam comes from. The hackers liked Monty Python back in the day, and that comes from that sketch.
Yeah, but you gotta remember.
Spam, eggs, and spam.
I've got a cupboard full of spam. When I was a kid, 10 years old, now I'm not making this up, 10 years old, every Saturday morning that I wasn't going to school, I would get up and go to work in the cedar break.
Okay.
And so we had to be out there. Now, this is Texas where the sun didn't come up till 6. And so we had to leave early to get there. Mom would take 2 big old pieces of white bread, smear them with mustard, and then take about a a half-inch slab of Spam and put it in between them with the congealed juices still on it. And let me tell you, you look at that and you're in the morning and you've just had your oatmeal and you look at that and say, yuck. After you've hauled out half a truckload of logs and it's about 10 o'clock and dad says, let's break for uh, lunch. Yeah, that was white bread, mustard, and Spam with congealed clear stuff. Ah, you just had to be there. So now I tell you what, I fry.
It's all about the timing.
Yeah, I fry my Spam. Yeah, it is timing. So who here is having Spam for breakfast? Uh-oh.
I love the way your impromptu live shows go, Bob. The directions that we take it in. We go from Die Hard to Spam breakfast.
Well, hey, you brought up the word Spam. It was actually, we were going with Jim Wright. You remember we're having them guys on. They do the last Sunday of the month. Jim and David, two of the most, they don't do the show because they like seeing me. That's an excuse for them to sit around for an hour and bullshit with each other. And I love it, every minute of it.
Watery cream of wheat. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good for you.
Cream of wheat. Okay, somebody here has heard all my stories, Facebook users. Watery cream of wheat? Well, that's the truth. If you let your cream of wheat get where it's not watery and it starts to chill, it actually congeals into kind of whatever it does. Okay. Somebody says, my Lord, I'm going to come over and move that Amazon box. Do I have a stalker? Okay. Do you know what Amazon box they're talking about, Cliff?
Nope. There are many Amazon boxes in the world.
There are too. Hey, I had an Amazon. I had a porch bandit the other night. Made me laugh. I think this is one of the ones that has top of your bookshelf. Let's see. Okay, here's the Amazon box.
It's like the Mount Everest of Amazon boxes.
Yeah. What is in the Amazon box? Shall we see? Ooh. One of my favorite books.
But it's printed backwards.
Oh, hell, I got to reverse my camera. It's the Protest Diaries. For a book that didn't sell particularly great. Okay. I am looking directly into my camera, not to you people, but heck with it. Let it be backwards. Boy, I chased Cliff off with that one. Okay. And Theo, good morning. Best of the season to you too. No, the Protest Diaries, that came out of the fact that some of you actually may know that I actually do go protest because I believe that we're not going to get a better society unless we work hard to make it ourselves. And the most sad and story I can ever have about doing my protesting is I was out doing. They just had the Uvalde school shooting. Remember that's the one where the police officers all stood out in the yard and said, "Oh, that's too dangerous in there."
Yeah, we all remember.
Let the kids be. when I got done crying, I uh, went down and had my signs had what it is I had a large newsprint picture of an AK-47 with a big no good through it. Uh, but I pulled them out of the garage and I went down to the intersection where I usually protest, and I grabbed Knox and we took my walker because I was still recovering then, and I sat down there by myself with that sign out there. A lady pulled up into the parking lot and came over crying. She just said, I wanted to thank you, and gave me a hug. Said, I just took my kids this morning and the school this morning, and it was just so hard. I was so scared. I, it just, and all I could think was, wow, you know, we going to school shouldn't be the most dangerous thing your child does in a day. I mean, it should be something fun like drive through a pasture in the back of a pickup truck with your feet hanging down, having no idea what the driver's driving over. It should be riding your bike without a helmet. It should be going skinny dipping. I mean, it should be lots of things should be more dangerous than going to school. The and so when I hear these gun rights advocates talking, they I got I got a belly. Most of those gun nuts got bigger bellies, and they're just they talk about defending the country. My God, buddy, you'd have a heart attack running to the mailbox. It's just sad. But this notion that guns are some god-given right. When I was a kid, my dad he hunted, and every one of us kids had one of those cheap Texas deer licenses that you get for kids. And when he went hunting, one of us always hung around, went along, and our tag went on that deer. And we had seven deer come in to feed the family. There was 11 of us, by the way, that Christmas or that season. You know, that's guns in their natural habitat, killing Bambi. Uh, you know,
Bambi's mom, at least, right?
yeah, killing Bambi's mom. You know, not killing school kids. Not one time we were protesting, and I had my granddaughter with me. Two, there were some counter protesters just a little up the street. Two of them came up and stood right next to me, uncomfortably close, with their little penis, artificial penis in its nylon holster on its belt, thinking I would notice that gun and I'd go away. We didn't. In fact, we were sweet and kind to them. We were so sweet and kind to them. One of them got in a huff and went away, and the other one turned out to be a decent human being that we got in a conversation with. Funny. Here's a funny thing about guns, Cliff. You may not know this because I've lost most of the accent, but I'm from Texas. Okay.
Well, you may not know this because I've lost all the accent unless I talk to my friends from Tennessee, but I am from Tennessee.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That is one. People talk about how long it takes to drive across Texas. They ain't never drove end to end on Tennessee. I tell you, I bet.
I was in Memphis at one end, and I've been all the way to the, Appalachians on the other end. So, yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee, that's where Susan McDonald's from. She's one of our writers. She is working on a book for me. I'll go back to my gun story later. This is a fun one. Susan has I don't even know if she's on today. If you are, hi, Susan. She has a brilliant way of looking at people. She had a stroke. it has impacted her mobility. She writes freely about it, so I'm not telling. But she has she became fascinated with Jane Addams, and she's written a story where Jane Addams, because she wrote the famous letter, "Don't forget the ladies," uh, to her husband when they were in the Continental Congress, that says, hey, yo, dude, we're here too. Remember us. And she showed such leadership that somehow she got herself elected president. Now that's not so crazy because the older generation may have remembered Queen Elizabeth as a child, and so the precedent for women in government, there were I think there were several women monarchs in the world at the time. So anyway, she sent me a great story for the protest diaries. It was since it's backwards, you can't matter. You see this picture right here? That woman is, if you look in the back of the protest diaries, I put all the pictures off the front with little notes about who they were. This woman was an army officer, and she had said was in a Woolworth, and they refused to serve the black people in the military uniforms. And she said, but they were serving the white folks. And she said, bullshit. We ain't leaving. It was probably the first of the lunch counter set ins. And she was a little adamant about it. Finally, they said, you get the hell out of here. We're calling the MPs. They called the MPs. And I don't know who this MP officer was, but may he forever be blessed. Because he said, what's the problem here, people? Aren't all these people wearing uniforms? Then serve them. The workers refused, but the management in Woolworth, recognizing consequence, served them all. Because the next thing
Excellent.
would have been a ban on the Woolworth, that no military members allowed in there, because they had processes for that. So she wrote me the story of this woman uh, for the protest diaries. Brilliant. I love it. I opened with it. And then she sent me a few more. So she is working. Now, I'm going to tell you, this frumpy little white housewife from Tennessee is working on a book for me, small 30,000 book, called They Endured, or more to the effect, about minority women who stood up when standing up was necessary and did it. And the world was a better place for them having done it. Because, I mean, and we're talking long before Rosa Parks. I mean, if Rosa Parks is a classic example, this woman, I mean, um, the civil rights movement, long before the opening bells of that sounded, there were people standing up and doing the right thing. Uh, oh, crap. I just broke the handle on my Yellowstone mug. You know what this means? The volcano's about to blow. It's an omen because this is my Yellowstone mug. It was made probably in my making up word stories of the day, was made from Yellowstone clay that had been bleached white by Teddy Roosevelt. Um,
I'm so sorry. Maybe super glue will help.
it's a mug handle.
Yeah. So
No. What goes on is it will go out to the shop. I will take my grinder to the nubs, and then it will become my Yellowstone glass.
all right.
So Susan McDonald is working on that. I won't get primaried. You know why I will never get primaried? Because I served 12 years as elected office, never lost an election, lived in a town that's 23% Mormon, and beat the state president in election. Uh, and because I did one silly thing. Every morning I got up, went to work, and on the way home from work, I stopped and walked through the town and knocked on doors till night and said, I want to be your member of the school board. Now, one of the most conservative towns in the state, socialists like me, got himself onto the school board. And that's a word of the day for people who say that we're too conservative around here to get somebody Democrat elected. No, Democrats are too god darn lazy. If you want to get a Democrat elected, get somebody who can string a sentence together, get them walking around to doors every day, get them some volunteers to support them to man up phone banks and to walk out and do door hangings, and you will be amazed what you can do. You and on the nights when it's a beautiful night, you stand them out there for the traffic coming home from the factory or whatever it is, and you put 25 people standing next to them waving signs and lights. And that notion that the Republicans have built that the Democrats can't win in rural America will melt away. We just need people willing to do it. But anyway, as I was saying, Cliff,
you were talking about guns.
Texas, yeah. See, I come up here and I met my wife. We got along okay, so we decided to get married, and we went over, and her mom. I'm sorry. A story I can never tell on this show just popped into my head. Uh, no, it had to do with what her mom was doing at 16 years old in Galveston, Texas, when her dad met her. But we were. He took me in there. I will do so, Cliff. He took me and downstairs, gave me the serious look, talk, and then he said, "Here, let me show you my gun cabinet." So we went through, and he opened the gun cabinet. He showed me all his guns, and I like dutiful. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's pump shotgun, all right. He didn't realize that for me, that was him telling me that he really liked me and respected me because he was opening his gun cabinet to me. For him, he was telling me, this is how I will kill you if you do bad things to my daughter. You gotta love the different cultural symbolism.
It's nuance. My father-in-law also showed me his gun collection at some point, although he liked me very much by then, so I don't think it was the threat kind of communication. Hold on, be right back.
Well, we're on the 15-year-old, the school shooter there that got life. I'm not going to argue the life sentence for the school shooter, but I will walk cliffs away. One of my pet peeves in the world is that we act like there's only juveniles and adults, and then whenever the prosecutor gets a wild hair up his ass, he treats a juvenile like an adult, usually if they're a minority, or more likely if they're a minority. I think we need three categories: juvenile, which is true juveniles; young adult, which is call that 15 to 23. Which is what I call the oh shit, I'm going to do something stupid just because I can. And then the adults, the folks whose brain is fully developed. They're out there, and if they're doing it because they want to do it, or situations, circumstances have driven them to do it, and I'll let the judge tell the difference. But that way we can stop sending 16-year-old boys to prison for 20 years, and we can stop trying 14-year-old boys like an adult. But that's just one of my little pet peeves in the world, and please do not apply this to the school shooter because I am absolutely opposed to the death penalty and do not believe in it. But I believe that we just need a great big 30-acre compound with giant walls and a few hydrants and a catapult that'll catapult over overdone malto meal packets in there.
Oh, come on. Give them Spam and mustard sandwiches. Have
I'm
some
not going to
fun.
let them have my childhood. Of course. Now, and by the way, I was not kidding. At 10 years old, that being what I was doing. Hell, it was my 12th birthday. On my 12th birthday, it was Thanksgiving Day. I thought, maybe we won't have to do it today. No. We were out there chopping lumber and hauling it out, selling it so that we could have food for the day after Thanksgiving. Yep. Amazing stuff. But anyway, as Cliff was saying,
Terry Bisson wrote a story about criminal justice called Max, in which the families of the victims of Tim McVeigh were given their own clone of Tim McVeigh to do with what they wanted. And it's a story about those clones who are complete innocents because they're just clones. They're not. But like the idea was like one of them is the real Tim McVeigh, and then we're not going to tell you which one, and we're going to give every family member you can kill them or whatever. It was a very interesting psychological study. Again, that's a Terry Bisson story.
Yeah, some of the best stuff is, you remember there's this writer once called Heinlein?
I think the name rings a bell. I might have heard of him.
Yeah. He wrote somewhere in one of his Lazarus Long character stories. Lazarus Long was actually had he not had Lazarus Long, I'm not sure he would be the icon he is today. But
Lazarus Long was his sort of his author insert, though. He was his Mary Sue.
He was talking
Lazarus Long was Heinlein's Mary Sue. Anyway, yes.
He was talking about religion. Basically, and something similar to the solstice.
Mm-hmm.
The first priest that was able to convince the people that if they didn't give him money and resources, provide him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, that the sun
very seasonal
would continue to vanish. And by the time they realized that, wow, it seems to come back every year, he was established. And so every now and then I got to believe that there's a certain priest that when he opened his arms for the gifts that he was supposed to get to make the sun come back, there's some old farmer trying to feed his family. He said, "Tell you what, screw you. I'm going to risk it."
Yep.
I love this because again, we were going to talk earlier. I had a plan on doing a show that never came together about the notion of see, I don't know this is true. I need to research it. But I'm just going to say northern climes versus southern climes. The winter solstice is more significant in the northern climes.
Well, sure, the delta of day and night length is bigger.
Yeah, and so I'm willing to bet that almost all good solstice celebrations originated in the northern climes, and then like Saturnalia migrated to the south through the uh, um, just everybody needs a good reason to party. Speaking of which,
The flimsier the excuse, the better the party. That's my understanding.
yeah, there
So
was no
speaking
party here.
speaking
Just
of religion,
partying.
I know you party too hard. That mug party too hard. But speaking of religion and books, because we were talking books earlier, my current reading is this, which I picked up recently.
Oh, you just got a hold of that?
Yeah, a little while ago, and I'm in the sequel, which is Alternative Theology Southern Edition. Bless their hearts.
No, that's actually not. No, Alternative Theology Southern Edition. No, is
Yeah.
not the sequel to this.
Okay.
Alternative Theologies 2 is a sequel, and
Oh, okay.
You may be in it, but I haven't announced the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't announce that.
Oh no, it's okay. It's people who know that. But I made a promise because I am right now 4 books deep in hell.
Mm.
And I just finished editing last night, first half of the first 261 pages of a novel that I've got a team of people writing.
Okay.
And so my next step is I'm back into my anthologies for a month, and then I go get book 2. But as you were saying about that brilliant book.
Oh yeah. So, but I will mention briefly, because I've already said that I have a story in Southern Edition. It is set in Memphis. I draw on my childhood on that. It's called Degenerates Against Memphis, which is a term that my friend Mike came up with when we were in high school in Memphis. So anyway, this has got like Jim Wright, and it's got Jim Wright and David Gerald in it.
Yeah.
Right. It's got Adam Troy Castro, who's one of my favorite writers. Fabulous guy. It's got Lillian Chernica, who's a friend of mine. It's got Irene Radford, who bought one of my stories once, so I will eternally love Irene Radford for that reason.
Isn't David Brin in that too?
Yes, David Brin. Mike Resnick of blessed memory is in that.
Mike pissed me off on this book.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I had this brilliant story. The whole thing was just it was writing itself, and then he submitted it.
The dirty bastard.
He submitted it better done than I ever could have.
Of course.
The Pale God, or the Pale, what's the name of that? It's the Pale.
I'll look it up. I got the table of contents right here.
But I will tell you.
The Pale Thin God.
Pale Thin God.
Yep.
Guys, you will hear me talk a lot about B-Cube Press's books. There is not a better B-Cube Press book than the one he's holding in his hand right now.
It's also got Jay Yolen.
Maybe there will be someday. But
well, let's hope when Southern Edition comes out, it will at least be its equal, right? Because not because of my story, but because of whatever else is in there.
Well, did you read Counting Sunrises?
I have not. I'm just barely into it, actually. So
okay.
I can give you a book report next month, but right now
you give me a book report next month. But let me tell you guys, this book, if you want like to settle in with your Kindle on a snowy Monday morning, this book has got it. And Counting Sunrises is a story that is in there that if you think that an anthology is managed by the editors, you're correct. But if you don't think that the editors cannot sometimes get a story that is so freaking wow, good, unique, just a blessing to have got to read, and says, yeah, this doesn't really fit the anthology. We're going to, bad editors do that. Good editors say, am I writing the right anthology?
Yeah.
and then they put that son of a bitch in there, and because this book was going to be mocking, fun, a little bit of satire on the right wing Christian, you know. Uh, Instead, we got Mike Resnick's Innocent Pale Thin God. We got the uh, Counting Sunrises. We got stories about faith and belief uh, in that just wowed us. And we also got some fun stories. We got the one where St. Peter and um, St. Peter got his iPad, and they go down and they decided they needed some new. Joseph Cook, I think, wrote that one. You might look him up, but the and said we need new criteria for heaven, and so they went down to a mega church and they started walking around looking at all the bumper stickers and decided they would use the bumper stickers people put on their cars as a criteria for whether or not they got to go to heaven or not.
I love it.
And
now it's Facebook posts.
Huh?
Now it would be Facebook
that
posts.
Could be Facebook posts. But I tell you, that book is heavenly. And Phil, bless her heart, she's got her grandchildren up this weekend, all the way from California. Her grandson has come up to see her, and God, I know her husband's name. I've eaten.
And her wonderful husband. Keep going.
And her wonderful husband. Thank you. And so they're, but she has agreed to do one more volume of it because she's been doing BQ Press. Her, Karen Anderson, Deborah Godfrey have been the backstop at B Cubed, and they've been wonderful. But anyway, where were we at? Oh, as you were saying,
I do want to also note, because the discussion kind of moved in this direction into satire. Daniel Marcus, who is another Bay Area writer, this is one of his collections, Bright Moment and Others, and he wrote a story, the first story in the book, actually, if I can get this thing to, there we go, and see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm not liking the new user interface for Apple Books as much as the old one.
Oh, I know. I got my wife an iPad for Christmas. She's going to kill me.
Oh, you cannot see it at all. That's okay. Jesus Christ Superstore. It is a brilliant take on Southern Christianity and marketing. And it's just Jesus Christ Superstore. It is hilarious. And you can read it in Bright Moment and Others, or if you're not familiar, Daniel Marcus and Lara Blackwell run a weekly story thing called the Story Hour that they started during COVID lockdown and has kept going for 3 years. It's every Wednesday night, except this week because they take the last Wednesday of the year off. And you can go to the Story Hour 2020, because that's when they started, storyhour2020.com, and get the links to the current Wednesday night read and 3 years of archives on Facebook Live. You can watch them on the Story Hour's Facebook page. So Daniel Marcus has read Jesus Christ Superstore on the Story Hour. Normally they have guests who are not Lara and Daniel, but every once in a while they read. So I would urge anyone who likes humorous takes on religion, satirical takes on religion, that is one of the best stories in that genre I've ever come across.
I think I shall have to read it. Hell,
you'll love it, Bob.
I might even buy the reprint for the the next.
Oh, I'm sure Dan would sell it to you. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, this book came out in 2021, and I think it was new. I think that story was new to the anthology. It was like one of the ones they put in, like, here's a new story, right? But I'm 100% sure the rights will have reverted by this point. You should absolutely put that in the Alternative Truth Southern Edition or
Oh
Alternative
no, you got
Theology,
to
whatever.
remember, Southern Edition is not the religious. Southern Edition, Alternative Truth Southern Edition, is the
Political.
political. Now these days you can't separate politics from religion. I swear.
Sure. Well, you should reprint it in something because it's brilliant. It's
Oh
brilliant
yeah.
stuff.
If send me a link,
Yeah, I could do that.
and because Phil keeps saying, "Well, when am I going to start working on theology?" And I said, "Ma'am, you'll start working on theology when I tell you."
When God wills it, it's
Yeah,
God's will.
my arm
You
is.
have to get a sign and a wonder, and you collect your sign and your wonder, and you go to the drive-in chapel, and that's where God will redeem your sign and your wonder to work on the anthology.
Nah,
And the accent came back for that.
I am. Oh my God, I hate to say this, Cliff. This has been fun.
Yeah.
I love just the hell, man. If we're ever having one of them odd Sundays, you and I, we can be, we may not be Jim Wright and David Gerald.
But we can tap dance.
We we, we can tell stories. Of course, that's a bad thing. I'm almost running out of stories, but tell you what, say something meaningful to the people to demonstrate that your feelings for the season.
Something meaningful to the people. No, seriously, just be kind. Kindness, the older I get, the more I value kindness over any other human quality. That was. I come in and you guys end it. Yes, Emily, there is a Santa Claus, and also we are ending the show.
Hey Emily, how's your knee, by the way? Emily was helping me at a particularly hideous anime con. I
Was
love
that
it.
the name of it? Particularly hideous anime con? Because that they would get points for that.
No, I am not going to name it because Emily was there helping me, and there's a crack in the floor about this wide, and she tripped and banged her knee up. And I
Yowza.
waved goodbye and never saw Emily again.
Well, I hope your
Glad
knee's
to
better,
see
Emily.
you're still there.
She's still there.
But anyway, yeah. Uh-oh, I hear dogs barking. That must be the girls coming back from Din Din because the girls went to breakfast because they didn't want to miss a minute, a god awful minute of the Seattle Seahawks versus the Tennessee Titans. An epic game that is going to decide the future of humanity. So let me just say, Cliff, I think that is the best thing you could have said because be kind. Be kind. That is, be good to people. Remember, everybody who gets up has their own challenges, their own things they have to deal with, their own burdens to bear. And sometimes all it takes to make a burden lighter is just somebody saying, "Hi, how you doing this morning?" You know, an acknowledgement of their humanity, their existence, and the slightest little bit of concern over how well they're doing, and that we have the power to do that. And if you don't believe me, go watch the last 5 minutes of Scrooged. That was actually my number one Christmas movie. So, what's your number one holiday program? Holiday.
Well, also the last 5 minutes of Die Hard are pretty nice, actually. In
Die
that
Hard.
regard.
Die Hard was number 2 or 3 on my list.
Where he meets the other cop and everything, and and the chauffeur is fine, and it's a good ending.
I think Becky put it best. It's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off of Nakatomi Plaza.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. So goodbye, folks. It's been a great Sunday morning. Thank you for joining us, Cliff. You are great.
Aw, you're not so bad yourself, Bob.
Okay, take
Bye,
care.
everyone.